Hey, what's up everyone? Austin here. And as some of you guys know, I've been posting about a 7-day fast that I've been planning to do. And I am actually about 2 days in of 2 days of my 7 days of my water only fast. And people might ask, like, the first thing, like, 7-day water only fast, why? Right? Like, that's the first question, like, why would you do that to yourself, right? No food for 7 days. So I have my reasons, right? One's just a completely gut reset, right? 7 days is a pretty common protocol with water only, just to reset your gut. And as if you guys have been following me, I'm big on gut health, and it's been messed up from, just growing up with bad lifestyle choices, going through college, and doing all that whole thing, and then being a competitive athlete. My gut was just wrecked, and I was so unaware of it until I started researching gut health and realizing how sensitive and my gut actually is. And gut's huge for living a long, healthy life. There's a gut-brain connection, and so much goes into it, which I could talk days about. But gut health is very, very important, which is one reason why, since I've stopped competing, I've been focusing so much on cleaning that up. And it has been a lot better, honestly. And leading up to this, I'm doing this protocol that I'm about to talk about. It's probably been the best it ever has, honestly. So about this fast that I'm doing, I got the concept, and the protocol that I'm roughly following is that of Dr. Peter Attia's, well-known doctor. You should definitely look him up. He's awesome. I try and absorb all his content the best I can. But he does like a 7-day water fast, and I'm kind of mimicking that. And I've read his notes, so I know what to expect, or a rough idea of what to expect going into mine. Where mine's different, I did different fasts leading up into the 7-day fast. So I started actually beginning of the month. I started going more towards a keto-ish diet. I wouldn't say I probably wasn't in full ketosis. I was still having probably 2 servings of fruit a day, usually a grapefruit in the morning and like a banana, or I'd have berries in the evening, which I think, other than that, carbs were way down, which is, probably further than I was normally used to. Right? I keep carbs low since I've stopped competing and taking care of my gut health, but really dropping them right now. The goal of that was so I'm actually burning ketone bodies as I go into the 7-day fast. So even if I wasn't full ketosis, even if I have a little bit of ketone bodies floating around in there, it's going to ease this fasting process as far as energy and mental acuity and all that. It's going to make life a lot easier, rather than if I were to just have carbs and be carb loading up until the 7-day fast and then cutting it all off. Okay. So beginning of the month, I went more towards a keto diet, really staying mindful of keeping my carbs low and fats even higher. I even brought down a little bit of protein just to make room for more fats. And then on day 10, so April 10th, I started basically 16-hour fast each day. So up to that point, I guess, I was doing 12-hour fasts. I would do that. That's pretty much my norm. I think most people do that without even realizing, right? That's cutting off food at 7 p.m. and not eating breakfast until 7 a.m. And that's a very common one. And I do that almost every day. And then I usually try to do a 16-hour fast once a week, which is basically just cutting out breakfast. So I cut out breakfast, 16-hour fast each day, 8-hour feeding window, so that means you're only eating in 8 hours, and I did that for 6 days. So that was no problem for me, especially going to the keto diet. I didn't really notice much change, other than my gut did feel a little bit better on the keto-ish diet without the carbs, as much carbs. I'd say beforehand I was eating a little bit more sugar. Before April, I was kind of hooked on the trail mix. I just love trail mix. That's my guilty pleasure, my sweet tooth. And with the trail mix, there's either dried fruit or like the yogurt chips or dark chocolate chips. I sometimes make my own, but I gained those away and just cutting out the sugar completely, other than coming from the fructose and the fruit. I felt a little bit of change and definitely noticed it with my gut and bowel movements. A little bit more regular. I tend to get gassy when things trigger me. I find sensitivities, and going to the keto, that was pretty much non-existent. After those 6 days of the 18-hour or 16-hour fasting window, I went to an 18-hour fasting window, and that would mean 6 hours of feeding each day, which again, that wasn't too terrible either, and I did that for 4 days. And those feeding windows too, I guess I should explain, I do them, basically I did it like 8 to 5 would be like the 6 hour, or 11 in the morning till 5 in the evening would be my feeding window. The reason for that too is digestion kind of should be working with the rise and fall of the sun, right? We should be in the circadian rhythm. And digestion should be, picking up if noon's at the peak of our day, right? The sun's at its highest point. That's usually when we have the most cortisol, we have the most energy. That's the best time to train, usually between, again, noon to 2 o'clock-ish, based on the sun when it's over you. So I found that to be the best time to eat. So I tried to schedule my eating. I did schedule my eating window around that. And we should be cutting off food when the sun goes down. Some people say that pancreas shuts off at 7 p.m., so you shouldn't be eating it after 7 p.m. So just building those habits and making sure I wasn't doing that was no problem. After the 18-hour fast, I went to 20-hour fast. So 20 hours fasting, 4-hour feeding window. And that feeding window was from 1 to 5. Okay, and that was actually a little harder. That was a lot harder because in order to get all my calories in, I'm still shooting for 3,000 to 4,000 calories a day, closer to like 3,500 to 4,000. But it was tough to keep eating for those 4 hours straight. I was pretty much eating nonstop and lots of fat. So I was just like full during, which obviously if the goal is gut reset, just cramming food down your throat isn't good on your gut. Be too much. So it was like finding that balance of trying to get enough without wrecking my gut when I'm trying to fix it, right? But the 20-hour fasts were a little harder, and that took me right into my 7-day fast. So the reason being was I was just trying to, kind of get my body used to eating on less, because it was harder to eat when the windows got smaller, and just getting used to being without food for so long, and I would say that definitely, this being up, I think in the next 20 minutes will be my 2-day mark of no food. I think that went really well, but I would definitely not do the 20-hour fast, 4-hour feeding window into this again, just based on, calories, right? Because it's almost like I'm doing closer to a 10-day fast because I didn't get as many calories as I would have liked in that 4-hour feeding window. So maybe someone smaller who doesn't have to eat as many calories might be able to make it work. But for me, I'm still training quite a bit, nothing crazy or intense, but I'm moving a lot, which takes up energy. So that's the biggest thing I've learned so far is like, don't do those 20-hour fasts into this, especially for your first one. But the last 2 days itself have, as far as hunger, haven't been bad at all. I'm actually not hungry. I'm just hydrating. I use trace mineral drops still, just to make sure I have, some minerals, so I'm not completely depleting away. I'm taking only 2 supplements: a liposomal B complex, so it's sublingual on the tongue, and then some magnesium to help me sleep. And magnesium is great too for mitochondrial function and all that, just to keep everything going, because I am taking in a lot of sodium too, right? I'm putting pink Himalayan sea salt, pretty much all my water too. And I am doing bouillon, very clean, I actually dilute it so you can barely taste the bouillon, but it's something to get sodium in my body. That's very important when you're doing a fast like this. But other than that, that is it. There's been nothing, and I've been keeping my schedule roughly the same. And the first day, I thought I was pretty stoked about the first day. I was like, oh, I'm not going to be spending 4 hours eating. I'm going to have 4 hours to do extra work in, and I should, have energy and feel good for that first day. But it didn't work that way. I think it was because of the 20-hour fast leading into that. So yeah, so energy has been lower, definitely, because I am still, like I said, I'm still training. I wouldn't even call it training, it's exercising right now. I brought it way down. And if you're doing a 7-day fast, I suggest not exercising at all and just doing walks, getting the sun, relaxing. But I consider myself an experienced exerciser, professional trainer. So I'm just keeping it very easy just to minimize atrophy, which is muscle loss, during this week. So I'm just kind of, bicep curls, super easy single joint stuff, along with some just body weight movements, just moving my body, working on flexibility and mobility, because if my reasoning behind that is if inflammation is going down from not all that food, I should be able to kind of stretch a little bit more. And I actually have noticed a difference. Today was the first day I've noticed. I was like, whoa, I was able to get pretty deep in some stretches. Some other things I've noticed, I do cold showers every day, especially since I've had the luxury of showering every day, being kind of parked at a house. And yesterday's cold shower shook me the rest of the night. I was literally had 4 layers of clothes on the rest of the day, and which is common, right? I knew that too, right? 7 days of fasting, your core body temp does kind of go down. You're more susceptible to being cold. But I just love my cold showers, so I still took it to see, because I did think I was going to be a little bit better physical and mental state yesterday on that first day. But I was freezing. I usually sleep naked. I slept fully clothed last night because I was just chilled to the bone. Today when I took my cold shower, I actually finished with hot, when I've been way better, right? The cold shower felt great. I usually end on that too, just to carry it over to whatever I'm doing next, but it's just not worth to be that cold. Yeah, I just don't want to be that cold anymore, and I want to sleep, which was why I'm taking the magnesium too, to help sleep. But yeah, the hunger and being around food, I'm still I just sat down with Megan and she ate, and I sat there with my water, just had a conversation with her, and this is day 2, finishing up day 2, and yeah, I'm not hungry. It's more mentally draining, because I'm having a hard time just relaxing and enjoying this. I'm still trying to read everything I want to read, write everything I want to write, and jump on all these calls with my clients. But after that first day, I realized I need to start toning it down. So yeah, today was a lot better, right? As far as just all right, take my workload that I usually do and cut it, in half. And that's what I did today. I feel so much better. And tomorrow I'll probably cut it down a little bit. Maybe even just take the weekend. I'm about to figure that out here soon. But yeah, I think that covers it for the first day. Like I said, the biggest notice is just energy and kind of general fatigue is definitely present. And again, I think that was because I did 20-hour fast leading into this. And just walking up the stairs is I feel it in my legs. It's that never happens, right? My training, I was doing step ups with a goblet style step up, and that was just felt like 1,000,000 pounds in the gym. Doing my body weight stuff, it feels like 1,000,000 pounds. You just feel heavy and drained, and I'm not used to that, right? It's just whoa. Same thing with reading, honestly. Reading, programming, just mental clarity, it's just a little slower, and I'm still getting used to that too, honestly. I didn't think it hit me that quickly, but again, it is. Which is one reason why I'm kind of taking all my workload and bringing it down. Some other things I think I should point out too is I slowly cut out caffeine, especially during those 3 20-hour fast days. I pretty much took it out there, and I was only doing, leading up to it, a cup, less than a cup actually. The 20-hour fast, the first 2 days, I only did 2 ounces of coffee. It was just a shot of coffee, but more like espresso, right? A shot of espresso, but without the espresso. It's just regular coffee, so it wasn't as strong. I did that, and then now I'm without caffeine. And when I've taken out caffeine for an extended period of time, I kind of get, I wouldn't call it diagnosed with depression, but I definitely get more depressed, right? Energy's down, I don't feel the same. And I do notice that, just seeing the thoughts kind of going my mind. It's very, very eye-opening for me, I guess, because I'm seeing it all. Do feel very clear-headed, and I do get angry easily right now. Things are triggering me, but I see it, so I'm not. It's happening internally, and nothing's happening externally. Like before, I wanted to do this video, and whatever reason, my phone wasn't working, and I just immediately wanted to like throw it across the street, which is not like me. But like I didn't, because I noticed it. But those thoughts are, appearing, where I want to lash out, but I'm still catching it, which is good. And that's something I've noticed with when I do take out caffeine. I just kind of get depressed and a little bit more angry. Another thing I stopped was marijuana. I would say daily marijuana, whether that's, done with work in the evening and just want to hang out. I usually take an edible. Every once in a while I do smoke, and there's none of that going on right now. And during those 20-hour fasts, I did also try and slowly take that away too, and lower the milligrams I was taking, which you could do when you're taking edibles. But that's also something I think that caffeine and THC, for me personally, I found a good balance between the two, which just puts me in a really good flow. And now without those two, and it's just me, right? It's just like I was laying on the grass earlier, just like kind of meditating, grounding, and just thinking like, this is it, right? Like there's nothing really in my body. It's the first time probably in the longest time I could remember where I could actually feel like there's nothing in my stomach, right? It's like, well, I kind of feel like there's nothing, like this is me, right? There's nothing masking this right now, which is interesting when I do notice like those spouts of anger where something doesn't work, I want to throw it. That's usually the thing. Like I just want to throw it, be done with it, or just yell real quick. But staying present and mindful of that, and that's another reason why I wanted to do the 7-day fast, because there's a lot of spiritual things that come with fasting. And I've heard that fasts like this ground you and make you very present, which is, I'm starting to notice that for sure. I meditate a lot, and I've been meditating more, and like I said, just sitting in the grounding and just like laying there. Just seeing these thoughts, it's just me. There's no food messing up my stomach, causing brain fog. There's really nothing, and it's a cool feeling, honestly. And I'm only 2 days in. But yeah, that's me. Those are my thoughts right now. I'm sure I'm leaving out a bunch. And if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. I'll plan on doing this daily or every other day or wherever I see fit, and posting this for everyone to see. So if you have questions, please comment below. I will be writing a blog on this. I've nerded out about this, right? I did my studying, which is one reason I'm doing that, following like a specific protocol, because I have been getting people who are like, hey, I'm gonna do a 7-day fast starting tomorrow. I'm just like, whoa, like that's great, but like think about this, right? Like set yourself up for success, do your research, know what to expect. I've read multiple diaries from people who I look up to on their 7-day fast and 10-day fast, and read their notes and journals and how they geeked out about it. And I'm doing kind of my own thing, and this is my first one, so I'm just kind of like seeing what happens, with a pretty, like I said, I have protocol I'm following. And then I'll probably do one again in the future and change some things up. Like I said, I already would not do the 20-hour fast leading into this. But yeah, please leave your comments, questions below. I'll answer them in the next video. Until then, please eat an extra serving of food for me, right? And go send it.